Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of The Bottom Line. I'm your host, Lauren Kalil. Our show is brought to you by FitAid. FitAid Energy provides clean energy and sports recovery in one can. Make sure to check out the description below for 30% off plus free shipping. On today's episode, Chase Ingraham and Adrian Conway, they're here to give us their men's podium predictions. We're on the heels of the games. It's probably the deepest men's field that we've seen so far. How hard was it to pick your 1, 2, and 3, Adrian?
It was hard, but I will say for me, it was less hard than it was to go 4 through 10. That was a complete nightmare. I'm still having nightmares about that whole experience, to be honest with you. And the top three, I feel a little bit more firm about. I really think that these guys have put in the work in, and they've got a history within our sport that makes me feel comfortable with saying their names in the top three.
What about you, Chase? How do you feel about your podium?
Same sentiment as Adrian. Like the top three was I'm much more comfortable with that. 4 through 10, I was like, I've never felt more wrong putting out a list 4 through 10. But I did that whole 1 through 40 for the men and the women for you guys
Me
earlier.
too. It was hard.
And I was like, I look like the dumbest person on earth. And I told him straight, I was like, listen, if you're a rookie in these other region, I'm putting you in the bottom 10. Sorry about you. But from 10 to 30, who knows, let alone 4 through 10. So I'm glad I'm a bit more comfortable with these top three picks.
Okay. Who wants to go first? We have some graphics so we can take a look at your podiums.
Ooh.
They're similar but different.
I can pop mine up there. I can go first.
Yeah, mine are probably better than Adrian, so I'll go second.
Pulling the move. Let's save the best for last, Chase. Maybe, but maybe not. I like Adrian's podium. I think that one player in it is very unique, putting Saxon Panchak right in the middle. Of course, Justin Medeiros on both of your podium picks is at first, and then Brent Fakowski in third. Why did you pick these three specifically in this order?
Yeah, well, for me, I mean, I'll start third at Brent Fakowski. I think that for him, he's put a lifetime of fitness on notice for me. I've watched him come from a regionals competitor where it was difficult for him to punch his ticket to the CrossFit Games, and then every single time after that, being a heavy hitter and a well-rounded contender for a podium spot. And so I really think that for me, this was more of an obvious pick. And the one thing that I really respect about Brent and his history within our sport is that, and I found myself even doing this more recently at the Granite Games this year, is that I watch Brent fitness and I watch other guys, and he's easily lost in the shuffle for me on almost any given workout. And then all of a sudden, we get 5 workouts in, we get 6 workouts in, and who do you know is at the top almost each and every time or close to the top, and that's Mr. Fikowski himself. So that's the rationale for my third place. My second place, Saxon Panchak. A lot of people might deem this as more of a risky pick or one that is kind of out of left field, but for me, it's very calculated. And I say that because of what he was able to put on as the show last year, being very consistent and very well-rounded. And when I look at this field, to me, he's an athlete that closely mirrors Justin Medeiros in regards to he's very well-rounded, yet I don't know if there are glaring home runs that he will hit. But if he can go out there and execute event to event, then I really believe that he's got a shot at hitting that podium. And of course, I'm mentioning that primarily based off of where he's at. Him being there in Nashville, Tennessee with the proven crew and being surrounded by people from the top of our sport, learning to compete on a day in and day out basis and really apply the lifestyle of a champion like he gets to see Tia do. I'm hopeful that it will influence his outcome this year. And then the champ himself, his first opportunity to repeat and defend his title, Justin Medeiros, I got him at the top because he was dangerous and very well-rounded last year. But this year, he's fitter, he's stronger, and I think he's going to be very hungry to defend that title. And my predictions, he will do so.
So you both obviously have Justin on top. We've already talked about that. But were there any last-minute questions in your head where you thought, maybe I want to put somebody else at the top? Or was it no problem, he's number one?
At the top, for me, it was a no-brainer. And again, it's because of what I watched him do last year. Chase and I have had the opportunity to record a few episodes together and talk all kinds of fitness over the last year. And we both recognize the importance of momentum. And I remember Justin Medeiros catching that clean in the clean ladder where there was a run involved and him having the opportunity to pass Pat. Brent was also right there at that seemingly really, really poignant time in the weekend. And I remember being like, I think he might have just won the CrossFit Games. I didn't even know that would actually excel him to the lead at that point, though. And then he put on the jersey, and I was like, oh, it's going to be really hard to take it away from that guy. And because of that type of presence, the way he was able to hold off, these veterans in the field last year, I think that he's even fitter this year. So I think it makes him more of a top spot guy. But I did have trouble leaving my man Pat Vilner off the podium. That was a struggle for me.
The Patty V disrespect. Look at that.
He might be coming for me.
He's definitely coming from you.
I'm trying to. Is that Shannon Sharp over there with that Saxon Panchak? What show are we on? Hot Take Conway.
I love it. Call me Uncle A. You know what I mean? They call him Uncle Shannon. You can call me Uncle A. That's what
it's done forever. For Games Podcast, that's it. I'm going to change your name. I can do it from here.
Ooh, yeah, actually, you could. Chase, what do you think about Adrian putting Saxon in second?
Honestly, all jokes aside, can't argue with it. For what Saxon, his trend over the last few years has just been skyrocketing. You think about the can he break the Panchak curse? Because Scott tried for near a decade and couldn't crack the top 3, but he was always in that 4 to 6 year after year after year. Saxon's knocking on the door already, and I think he's fully capable of being in that top 3. For me, it's not the second place Saxon. It's actually the not Pat Vilner, at least third in that podium. So for me, that's the one where I'm like, ooh, curious. I like that pick. No problem with Saxon in the top 3. I'd love to see it. Right. From a fan standpoint, I would love to see new blood at the top, and to see a Panchak on the podium, I think is something we've been waiting to see for a long time.
All right. Well, let's look at your podium, Chase. You did include Vilner. He is your number 2 spot. Otherwise, 1 and 3 are the same. Talk to us about your picks.
The only thing that changed is 21 at the top to 22, because this is the exact same podium that we had last year at the games. And, if it ain't broke, don't fake it, right? I'm not going to put Saxon up in there until he proves his worth to be in the top 3, because you look at Justin Medeiros as what he did last year. And Adrian said it so beautifully, is that he really established himself as a dominant figure in this sport in that clean event. And as he said, when he hit that clean, that was after both Vilner and Fikowski missed, and then gave them, basically opened the door up. And if we want to speak metaphorically, open the door to the new, maybe men's dominant champ we may see in the field for years to come with Justin Medeiros. Pat Vilner, here's the thing. Yes, he missed that clean, but that's not why he got second. He got second because of a swim and a bottom 30 place in the swim. If he was just in 15th, just above mid-pack, he would have been going into the final event with a lead. And then who knows what would have happened. And then Brent Fakowski got third on one leg. He's not going to talk about injuries or ailments, but we all saw the tape all the way up that one side of his leg the entire weekend, basically after the 400-meter sprint event, and he still got third. And if you look at Pat Vilner and Brent Fakowski over the years, barring 2019 and 2020, all those guys do is podium and podium together. Brent has only missed the podium 2 times. One was by 2 points, because of Vilner's 10th of a second finish over BKG in the final event in 2016. 2 points out. The last time he got 4th was a tiebreaker with, forgetting his huge, giant Swedish guy, Lucas Högberg, right? A tiebreaker with Lucas Högberg. So Fikowski and Vilner, they just live on the podium. Now, 2019, 2020, if I just want to go on stats, you want to show me a good programmed event, a good format event, then these 2 guys will be on the podium. And if not, you're going to have to go back and look at the drawing board of which the test you provided for these athletes. So those are my top 3. Until they get beat, I'm going to stick with what they have.
Okay, so then from your 4 through 10 lists that we already had a show on, who from that list would have potentially snuck into your podium, or do you guys both think could be that dark horse to creep in? Adrian, you can start.
Well, I'd have to pull up my top 10 because I forget now that we're talking about it.
Okay, then on the spot,
No,
who do you
I got
think
them
is
right
that
here.
one
I got them right
outlier?
here. I just had to flip my notebook a page back. Gosh, I think one for me off the top of my head would have to be Ricky Gerard. And I say that because, again, as I alluded to in the 4 through 10 episode, I really believe that he has this uncoachable ability to rise to competition. Now, we're looking at him previously. We know that he had an edge. We know that he cheated in that particular year, but there's something about his psychological ability to compete and fight amidst an on-site competition that I really like. And I think that as the bigger the stage, likely the bigger that we will see Ricky perform. And so if I had to pick one that I think could edge his way onto the podium, aside from any of the ones that we've been talking about, I would say Pat Vilner's my number one to push into there because he's my fourth place contender, but then Ricky would be second, and as one that we haven't mentioned so far.
What about you, Chase?
For me, if I repeat once again, obviously BKG is someone that always flies underneath the radar, but has podiumed multiple times in the past. But I'm going to take the analytics out. I'm going to take my brain out, which someone would argue I've already done by my pick so far, and I'm going to throw a heart pick out there. Not just a hot take, but a heart pick. Something that I think would be amazing for the sport worldwide.
I'm listening.
Guy Medeiros.
Me too.
Ooh, yeah.
Imagine what that would do for a worldwide sport, especially in South America and Latin America, if we can get Guy Medeiros on the podium. So what would I like to see? What I think would be exciting to see? I'm going to throw Guy up there. Shock the world, baby.
That would be extremely exciting.
Okay, Adrian, what is your bottom line?
My bottom line is Saxon Panchak is here to play, baby, and he puts everybody on notice. I really believe that this is going to be one of the most exciting CrossFit games we've ever watched, and I say that a little bit with bias because I'm going to be there and get to cover and talk through some of the experience there on site, but also because this field made this job here very difficult for me, and I couldn't be more excited. I mean, my hands are getting sweaty just thinking about the on-site opportunity and experience that we're going to get to see, and everybody's going to get to watch. And I think that honestly, I really believe that Saxon's going to do something that no Panchak brother has done so far, and hopefully put the world on notice that he's a true contender to be the fittest on earth.
Chase, what's your bottom line?
I go with the phrase, "What have you done for me lately?" And all these three guys at the top have been sitting on the podium. Justin Medeiros did it once, podiumed in 2020. So the man's done it 2 years in a row. Pat Vilner and Brent Fakowski, all they do is podium. So until someone else proves me wrong, I'm going to stick with my guns there. 1, 2, 3, just like we had last year.
Love seeing your guys' picks. Chase, Adrian, thank you guys so much for joining us on this episode of The Bottom Line, and we'll see you next time.